Handsome Hockey Podcast. Well then, unlike indoor goals, we're still here.
We're not going anywhere in October.
Yeah, for those of you... No, I'm getting all my traveling done in September. For those of you who are in the Portland metro area and also play roller hockey, you're probably as bummed as we are.
Yeah, Indoor Goals is on hospice, and it'll be there somewhere between the length of Jimmy Carter and the singer from Smash Mouth.
Hopefully it won't be throwing out Nazi salutes prior to. But that was Jimmy Carter who did. I'm just kidding. Jimmy Carter was a man of the people. He's a peanut farmer.
Yeah, Indoor Goals is going to build a Habitat for Humanity house before it goes belly up.
Speaking of going belly up, the let's just say the faintest idea that hockey wasn't just a retread for racists and fuckheads. We've already talked about our good friend Mike Babcock coming back to the NHL.
That would be the fuckheads.
Yeah. So
this would be the racist.
This is the racist. Bill Peters, legendary abuser, racial abuser of Akeem Aliu, was hired by the Lethbridge Hurricanes of the WHL.
Yeah. Also notorious for kicking a player in the back while on the bench.
Yeah. That's exactly the type of guy that I want coaching my 17-year-old son.
Lethbridge they've signed up for Hurricane Bill.
Yeah. And it's like a wet fart of a hurricane, but that fart also says the N-word.
I mean, the sound is in the name, Lethbridge. That English majors would call that what? When something sort of sounds like, exactly. Perfect. Thank you. I couldn't pull that lowly architecture major.
I should have stolen that Barn book for you, by the way.
Ooh, no, I can find that. I've seen it 5 times in used bookstores.
Nice. For those of you who don't remember, or perhaps more likely have chosen to forget he existed, Bill Peters was fired as the head coach of the Calgary Flames after it came to light that he had racially bullied then hockey prospect Akeem Aliu, including countless instances of calling him the N-word, supposedly because he didn't like the music that Akeem played in the locker room.
Yeah, I thought he referred to it as N-word music.
Yeah. Which still a problem. Yeah, it turns out.
Yeah, he's just perfect for coach in today's environment.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, he has been coaching in the KHL, which is where racists, sexual predators, and Vladimir Putin go to play and coach. And now he's being brought back to, coach a team of children and almost adults.
Yeah, where he really should be going is Toronto. And he should be required to say that to Ryan Reeves' face.
Yeah.
And just see what happens.
While as Ryan Reeves before him is putting on the foil.
Yeah.
It's both astonishing and completely unsurprising that this is happening.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, it also gets worse when you look into the feigned attempts at rehabilitation by him, shall we say. In that he didn't say anything to Akeem Aliu, the victim in all of this, or one of the main victims in all of this, except via an intermediary, and when this was already reported.
Yeah, it's the Mitchell Miller playbook, about which more later. The biggest disappointments here, I think, are one that Bill Peters has not even remotely showed contrition. in the least. Even his introductory press conference was like him talking about, how much he's learned and, how he's moving forward as a person, but there was zero contrition in it.
Well, and he got a hard question about this, to which he said a very, I don't seem coached answer, but about him like still going through the process. And it's like, well, if you're going through the process, like, what are you doing coaching a team?
Yeah.
This process ostensibly should probably be completed before you're, charged with the hockey careers of young people.
Like, your process started when you got fired 4 years ago. It took you, it's taking you more than 4 years to figure out that racism is bad. Like, oh, there's your moment, Bill.
Well, and if I remember correctly, he didn't do this as a Flames coach. It was while he was in Rockford.
Yeah.
As an Ice Hawks coach in the Blackhawks system. And so, like, it took time to catch up with him, just like the Quenneville stuff took time. I mean, everything from that scandal took a lot of time to catch up with the coaches involved. And yeah, it's just like no one ever really gets kicked out of this league. If you're in the boys club, if you're part of the George Carlin them, you don't really suffer the harshest of consequences. And it seems like there's always a way to dodge or get back to where you once were.
Yeah. Aliu pointed to this in a text that he put, or in a tweet that he put out. I guess text is, with it being X now, that's like never mind.
I think it was like an image.
Yeah. So it was an image from his like iPhone.
Right.
Draft app or whatever they call it.
A necessary workaround because of capitalism. I digress.
Yeah. But so he pointed out that a bunch of the guys who were part of bringing Bill Peters into this sport are guys that were then capable of blacklisting Aliu from the sport, because there was like 5 of them that became GMs afterwards.
Right. I think he points out, without really knowing the true story of what was going on under the guise of Bill Peters' umbrella. Like when you have the trust of other coaches, that's when you can abuse players. And, that's what we saw with the other scandal in Chicago. That's what we've seen time and time again with scandals in sports. It's like coaches use their power of, benching, playing, pulling up or down off of a roster to great effect and to just awful effect in each one of these circumstances. And so, yeah, whether or not you're a video coach or a head coach or everybody but like probably a trainer, like has a huge effect on a player's career.
Well, I mean, no, Brad Aldrich wasn't a trainer. He was a video coach. My bad. Also smelling like poo-poo in this is the WHL itself. In their press release, they stated that they didn't have time to contact Akim Aliu before the hire was made, because it took 5 days.
Doubt.
Yes. Peters was hired by one of his best buds, whose name I forget, who's the GM in Lethbridge. It took him 5 days. It takes roughly 4 seconds to send a text, and maybe, another second and a half for it to be delivered.
Right. What's the, how long do you have to wait for a firearm?
Less than 5 days.
Yeah. 3 days.
They could have bought 3 guns before they texted Akim Aliu. But they did contact the rehabilitation of racist support group or whatever that Bill Peters is going through, but they couldn't reach out to the dude who he had like most prominently abused. Like, give me a fucking break.
The hell is Lethbridge anyway?
Hopefully it's not near Calgary. That would just be an unfortunate side effect. Let's look. Click, 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 click. It's in Alberta. Shit.
And it's notable that Bill Peters spent the last 2 years coaching in the KHL, which he obviously has been, learning all of the best and brightest youth coaching techniques in the sphere of a league that's indirectly influenced by Vladimir Putin. That notoriously pays people in cash, just giant bags of cash.
It's 2 hours from Calgary.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought? God, that's so just like no one ever really dies.
Yeah. No one. No, except for the people you don't want to die.
Yeah, Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
Like one of the best memes I saw about that was like death at a vending machine. And he goes, Jimmy Buffett? Is Henry Kissinger even in this thing?
I did. Kissinger, my fucking God.
Let me put it on record so they can come after me too. But I think that Henry Kissinger killed Anthony Bourdain. That's my true conspiracy theory.
I mean, it's not a conspiracy if it's true.
Anthony Bourdain talked so much shit about Henry Kissinger, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
And then he got suicided.
Yeah. When you put all of this together, what you really see is that everybody is just covered in mud and Klan hoods. It's a clown car full of Klansmen.
Not even like clean Klan hoods.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you've already got mud on you and then you put the Klan hood on top of it, it's not going to stay clean.
Don't they kick you out of the cross burning for that?
No, they award you a special prize.
A WHL team bench job.
Yep, you nailed it.
I mean, it happens time and time again. Just add that to the pile of the curiously uncanceled in hockey, including Mike Babcock, Logan Mailloux, soon to be Joel Quenneville, and probably Stan Bowman too.
How you take Scotty Bowman's name out of your goddamn mouth?
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
I will slap you like Will Smith.
Yes, because the Red Wings can't do anything wrong. Not gonna maybe sign Patrick Kane or anything.
Well, I mean that you said that just to be a dick.
Gotcha, bitch.
And I appreciate it. But go fuck yourself. Since we have not recorded in a month or so, something that has happened to the hockey world that's great, outside of Rocky Wirtz being dead, which we'll get to later, Puck Doku has arrived, and we don't want to spend much time on it. There's countless articles and everything out there, but it's fucking great.
It's amazing. It's I absolutely suck at it. As I suck at remember some guys, and it's so much fun. It's enjoyable even just to put fucking 5 or 6 down. And I don't know, when I haven't even gotten 9 yet. I get tantalizingly close to 9, and then I don't know, whiff on the one team that Alex Galchenyuk didn't play for.
Yeah, you got to remember a couple of guys who just hit a bunch of Alex Galchenyuk's really good. Brian Marchment played for 12 teams or some shit, but don't put him down for Winnipeg because he played for them before they moved to Arizona, and that'll just fuck your entire world up.
Yeah. I think that Puck Doku's been making strides in improving their website, and now you can go back.
Yep, there's an
and
archive
play
now.
Archive stuff, and I'm sure now they'll find a way to sell you some product that a lot of people will happily pay for. But I think what they need to do is bring back these jerseys of these guys that played for 16 teams, just every Jaromir Jagr jersey.
They should put a a quilt together of that makes a Jaromir Jagr jersey out of all of the other jerseys.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was thinking is like what you see like parents that play for two teams that play each other get like, oh, here's half of a jersey and half of the other jersey. Like I haven't seen this 10 times before.
Yeah.
Do those.
Which is really snide because it's like, look, we have two sons who are millionaires. It's like, yeah, fuck you.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of appreciate it, but it was more funny when like it happened last year.
The Josephs.
Yeah, when the Josephs played each other and they like took penalties against each other. Like that was okay. That's great.
As somebody who doesn't have kids, I don't understand being proud of your kids. Like they're supposed to grow up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he can hold his hockey stick correctly. Yeah. Cool. Like
you would not be welcome in the Steven Stamkos commercial. Yeah. Maybe hockey isn't for your kid.
You know what? My kid will never play hockey because I don't have one. My fantasy child will do what all fantasy children do, which is become a rock star.
Oh yeah,
yeah, yeah. All you need is one hit, and you're remembered forever.
Ain't that right, Todd Bertuzzi?
Yeah, isn't that? Oh. Yeah, I have no joke for that. That's really good. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. If you haven't played Puckdoku, it's spelled exactly like it sounds. Google it. I think it's just puckdoku.com.
I feel like if you listen to our podcast, there is 100% chance you already play Puckdoku.
Yeah, but for those who aren't, it's out there,
and it's fun to just talk about. I love the way that they have like innovated their, like you can share your score without giving away any answers. Like brilliant, simple, fun. Like the way that they've just made a hockey centric, almost like a social game out of nowhere, and how it's just gone worldwide like wildfire in what, 6 weeks?
Something like that. Like I think it was Say. I think Say showed it to us, and I've played it probably every day, but maybe 2 since.
Like, yeah.
And those days I was upset when I looked at my phone after midnight and was like, ah.
Puckdoku could legitimately replace like Twitter or Facebook for the hockey community if it wanted to.
It'd probably be less racist.
Yeah, like I'll remember some guy's social network. Sign me the fuck
up. Yeah. You say remember some guys. I'd prefer not to. Rocky Wirtz is fucking dead.
Yeah. He croaked kind of early. But just like his father, most thinking hockey fans were relieved to fewer people were relieved. Bill, like they've continuously upgraded the Wirtz family. Bill Wirtz, awful. Rocky Wirtz, maybe slightly less awful, but like he was a pretty good owner, but then spoiled it all with this awful scandal.
Except for that one thing.
And his reaction to it. And then Danny like seems all right. He seems like a, I don't know, pretty well-meaning guy. Like that's the crazy thing is if Danny had gotten to field a question that was meant for Danny, we would remember Rocky Wirtz's legacy in a significantly different light.
I mean, he still presided over the whole thing, but yeah, we wouldn't be sitting here going, we're not going to talk about blah, 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 blah.
Right. As owner, like your words matter, and he did so much damage with that one press conference. Like, but yeah, his son Danny takes over Wirtz star Royko, and he's kind of a weird, quirky character. He's apparently a big fan of the band Ministry, the industrial metal band that I just heard of called Ministry.
They suck. As a metal fan, Ministry sucks.
And they apparently wrote a song For the Wurtzes / the team called Keys to the City. And just basing off of this, like, I understand why we remember Chelsea Dagger and not this song.
We listened to about 45 seconds of it, and I had to turn it off, even after like skipping to what I thought might be better, like in the bowels of the song. No. It's fucking horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Danny Wirtz is relatively young. He made a number 40 over 40 list at some point, and he looks like a future like centrist Republican candidate for governor in the state of Illinois.
Meanwhile, Bill Richardson is dead.
Yeah. He might, I mean, that's saying like he'll probably go to prison at some point.
Well, I mean,
just by virtue of
politician in Illinois means jail sentence. It's actually Latin.
It's like a 1-to-1 correlation.
Yeah, it's Latin for going to jail.
But yeah, rich people are weird, and especially young rich people are weird, and it very much vibes like Succession right here.
Are you gonna make another secession joke? Or succession, not secession. Those are two different things.
Yeah,
go for it. Yeah, do it.
The Arizona Coyotes are in for a big succession.
It's like somebody with a toe fetish.
Speaking of fetishes, the QMJHL has banned fighting.
I mean, hockey's been fetishizing fighting for its entire inception. Remember, this is the sport that created outrage when you were not allowed to fight with your stick anymore.
Yeah, or when you had to wear a helmet, or not smoke during intermission,
or not strategically try and cut people with the knives on your feet anymore. Like, it's not exactly known for progressivism. If you've been listening to the rest of this, say by chance you fast forwarded to this moment in this episode,
and you've never listened to anything we've put out before.
Have not listened to anything in this episode or anything before it, hockey is not progressive. I think we've said it before, specifically this way. Hockey is amazing. Hockey culture sucks. So as we close in on probably like the full ban on fighting in minors hockey, at least in Canada, I think the Q and the O have both banned it at this point.
I don't think the O has yet. I think the Q is the one leading the way.
Okay. Here. We're gonna see, and Evan's about to talk about, some stupid backlash.
Yeah. Noted hockey thinkologist Ryan Whitney went Ryan Whiny about this QMJHL getting, banning fighting. And as somebody on Twitter that I can't remember now pointed out, he played in college where you couldn't also really fight and everybody wore a cage.
Yeah.
I
never thought the moment would come where I was like, man, I really like Paul Bissonnette. But Ryan Whitney, never going to get there.
Yeah.
Bissonnette's good on TV. His podcast sucks.
I never thought that I would ever get to a place where I said, man, I love really oversweet lemonade and vodka so much that I want to make a drink with my name on it and market it to teenagers.
Yeah. At least it's not meth, I guess, marketed to teenagers.
Right. But
it's marketed to teenagers and hockey players who are dumb enough to buy that shit.
Right. I mean, okay, if we get like a Brandon Hagel branded Four Loko, I'm in.
Yeah.
Called like Grinder or something.
No, that's the name of Darren McCarty's band. That's a true story, actually.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that is.
Do they get sued by the app, or does the app sue them first?
They've been a band for a long time. Yeah, I think they were a band when he was still playing for the Red Wings.
Interesting. Okay. So, yeah. Is there like an all-time musician list in professional hockey? Like we get
Ryan O'Reilly.
Mika Zibanejad is a DJ.
Darren McCarty. Technically, Keanu Reeves played hockey and is also in a band.
Oh, yeah.
I
bet like Tim Thomas has some weird band shit. I don't know. Just seems like he would. Or I bet... what's that?
It's where it's just him plucking the banjo and humming Donald Trump's name over and over again.
And he goes by
Tim Thomas is actually Jason Aldean.
He goes by Oliver Anthony now.
Oh, is that the chubby red bearded guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I refuse to listen to that song. I'm like, I don't even care. I don't even care.
Just leftists did it better, man. They always did.
If you are a musician and you are like making conservative reactionary music, like you should really rethink your life choices. Well, at no point has conservative reactionary music ever been better than like protest music.
And to his credit, Oliver Anthony has like turned around and been like, yeah, I'm not a Republican. Like, and they brought it up in like the Republican debate and then asked him about it. And he was like, fuck all those people. Those are the people I'm mad at. And everyone's like, yeah, but also Richmond, north of Richmond is like a Confederate dog whistle, but also like he probably just internalized it and didn't even think about that. Like,
or he's lying.
Yeah, there's also that.
Didn't I see he's going on tour with like fucking Kid Rock now?
Is he?
I
Kid Rock, who was spotted drinking Bud Light again.
He's the fucking worst.
Yeah, Kid Rock, who was born rich.
Just when you thought that Ted Nugent couldn't possibly be beat as the worst musician out of Michigan.
Ted Nugent is still worse, I think.
But at least Ted Nugent actually stands for things.
Like
horrible, awful things.
Yeah, but raping teenage girls.
Yeah, but like Kid Rock doesn't even stand for things. He's just like parrots movements.
Sure.
But yeah,
but Ted Nugent's still worse.
Ted Nugent is still worse. You can't cancel America tour.
Oh, does that have Try That in a Small Town guy?
That's Jason Aldean.
Jason Aldean, is he on that tour too?
Yeah, Try That in a Small Town. Remember when I wrote a song about how much I hate small towns?
Well, and like he's not from a small town. He's from Macon, Georgia. So it's really more like Try That in a mid-sized suburb of Atlanta.
I don't know if that's true or if it's just a Reddit meme that he's going on tour with Kid Rock and Jason Aldean. I hope it's not true. Honestly, for his sake, like you can't get within 15 feet of Kid Rock and not get hepatitis. So like,
I mean, that tour is essentially just people that have been force-fed into the conservative rageosphere by the Murdochs. Like, that's just that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. In complete opposition to the shittiness of Kid Rock, the PWHL is moving forward.
I mean, it's got a name.
It's got a name. It is the PWHL.
Now, yeah, I mean, pretty logical jump from the PWHPA, which we've all learned to barely get out every time we say it.
And as much as I miss it, it's better than the PHF.
Yeah, and that like Professional Women's Hockey League makes so much more sense than
Premier Hockey Federation,
Premium Hockey Foundation.
It's like retrofitted.
Yeah, it's now with more hockey.
Yeah, because it's Premier.
Mm-hmm.
The PWHL finally announced the 6 cities that it is going to start with. They are in order of cities I would most like to visit on this list. I'll go with Toronto.
Okay.
And then Montreal, I think.
Oh, wait. Can I get in on this draft here?
Yeah, absolutely. I might be Montreal number 1, actually.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay, so you took Montreal number 1.
Okay, yeah, I'll be Montreal number 1. We can do snake draft.
Do we? I mean, yeah. Any draft is a snake draft with 2 people.
No, it's not.
Oh, I got
Yeah. So yeah, you get 2 picks now because I got Montreal.
Should I just take both the places I've not been to? The other 2 places I've
Sure.
I have not been to Toronto. I've not been to Ottawa. So I'll just. I'm gonna go to Halifax later this year just to see Sidney Crosby's famous dented dryer from his mother's house.
Oh, and
The only reason I'm going.
maybe they have a pair of his homemade pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will take so I get 2, right? Minnesota for sure. I've actually never been to Minneapolis, so
Really?
yeah,
That's kind of
never
surprising.
been.
You never followed the National there or something?
Sadly, no.
I mean, I guess it is a prohibitively far drive from
Michigan,
from
absolutely.
Michigan, from unless you're right on the border.
Yeah. It's I think it's a good 8 hours to Minneapolis.
Yeah, the
hometown.
difference in Midwest driving time between 6 hours and 8 hours is a big that's a hard line. Right?
It's like any time. I can be on a plane for 5 hours, and I'm like, okay, this isn't bad. The second it turns to 5 hours and 1 minute, I'm like, get me the fuck off this fucking plane.
Yeah.
I want to die.
Right. You're no longer a 2-movie flight. You're like a 2-movie and a documentary flight.
Or at least half a David Attenborough series. So I'll go with Minnesota, and despite my love for Queens, I think I'm going to go with Boston. I haven't spent any time in Boston.
I think Boston is more fun than New York.
Okay.
I will take the worst city on this list, New York City. But it's Long Island. So
you're going Strong Island then?
well, that's where the team is going to be, right? I think that's what we've
Had
heard.
it been finalized? I thought they hadn't finalized it yet.
People are saying.
We'll leave it open.
People are saying that rink time is cheaper on the island.
Yeah, on the Strong Island.
They just give it away at Nassau.
Ottawa has the venues are still kind of up in the air, which venue is obviously super important, but it's also not the first thing you need to square away, probably.
If anything, they can just play in Sean McIndoe's backyard.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. That'd be really kind of him. Ottawa has secured a venue. They're going to play at the TD Place, which is where the Ottawa 67s play.
Yeah, which is a big venue.
It's a big venue. And
hell yeah.
And supposedly they are going to build a new locker room for the women's team there. So that's really fucking rad.
So 1 or 2,
why not 3?
Does a women's locker room in hockey, is the difference that they get stall doors?
I think, have you ever accidentally gone into a women's bathroom? And it's so much nicer than the men's room.
Yeah.
You're
for
offended.
real.
I'm like, why doesn't my gender? And I'm like, oh yeah, we got pretty much everything else.
They get benches in the bathroom.
Yeah, they or couches sometimes. And I'm like, I was true story. I worked at Michigan State on their recycling team early in college, and before this was when Michigan was smart enough to not admit me before they were dumb enough to admit me.
So were you guys D1 recycling or D2 recycling?
Oh, we were D1. We were hauling all sorts of recycling.
Top 5 ranked recycling programs and
I dare I say maybe even number 1 at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean,
Ann Arbor's a pretty
campus.
wealthy
Well, this is at Michigan
town.
State.
Oh, this is Michigan State.
This is at Michigan State. And
saying not wealthy.
Not as much, no. There's some real spots in Lansing. Lansing has gotten a lot better. I actually really enjoy
but
some of the places where you would have not walked around when I moved out here.
Right, but show me any Big Ten school that doesn't have that.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, a rough part of Evanston, but
or
that would be hard to find.
In Ann Arbor, we call the rough part Ypsilanti.
Yeah, they just outsourced it.
We just put it on the other side of the freeway. But so I was recycling and I forget what building it is. It's a really old building. They might have knocked this fucker down by now, but
the building itself got recycled.
Yeah. But I was working, you worked in 2 people crews, and the person I was working with was a woman. And like, I was like, I gotta go pee. And she's like, yeah, me too. So we go to our respective bathrooms, and I come out and she's like, have you ever been in a women's bathroom? I was like, no, that's super creepy. Why would I go into a women's bathroom? He's like, or she goes, there's nobody up here. Cause it's basically like all of the rooms on that floor are faculty offices.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, they're famous faculty, so like nobody's there. They're all on sabbatical doing fuck all,
mailing it in quite literally.
Yeah, and this is before like web content was a big thing.
That's what I mean. They're mailing it in quite literally.
And so she lets me into this bathroom, and there's 2 couches, and like instead of like the shitty like attached to the wall kind of hanging off sink, it's like beautiful pedestal sinks, and like nothing has engravings or carvings into it. There's no like hateful messages carved into shit.
Did they have women on faculty?
Yeah, but there were men on faculty on that floor too, and it was like all faculty, so they were trying to like be at least somewhat like, hey, we're gonna give you nice things because you're our distinguished faculty. Men's bathroom falling apart. Women's bathroom immaculate.
I mean, that's totally, I think, apropos for colleges. Like,
well, somebody's doing it right, and like I think anybody who like ever complained about, oh well, men are just gonna go into women's bathrooms, it's because they're so nice. It's not because somebody's gonna go around like raping everybody.
The only time I've ever seen a man's bathroom appointed with that sort of thing has been like in a theater
or a like really fancy hotel.
Right. Yeah. Like a bathroom that has an antechamber. It's like,
but you have to know the secret knock.
Yeah.
And they open up and they're like, moist towelette. And you're like, yes, thank you. Anyways, that's one of our better tangents.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. Also, so we said Ottawa's going to play at the TD Place. Supposedly, it's not confirmed yet, but the Minnesota franchise is going to play at the Xcel Energy Center, which is where the Wild play. So they're in an NHL level arena, which is unreal cool.
That would be awesome. I've also heard that there may be other things in the works there, but like the Minneapolis area has no shortage of good arenas. Like, I'm sure they're going to play somewhere cool no matter where they are at. But yeah, if they play at the Xcel, hell yes.
That's super rad. As we were writing the script, well, yesterday, let's be honest, we like put ideas on there, and then it's like anywhere from 24 hours to like 6 minutes before we start recording. We're working on the script. So while we were cleaning things up last night, none of this had happened yet. But as of today, we'll just go on the record and saying this is the 5th of September.
Remember.
The 5th of September. Where nothing cool ever happens.
Except some signings, finally, because it was getting kind of weird. We were like, hey, what? Is Lou Lamoriello running the PWHL?
He's just like... He'll announce them all in like June.
Yeah, he'll like snail mail some shit to,
the league offices. So Emily Clark, Brianne Jenner, and Emmerance Mashmeyer have all signed with Ottawa. So Ottawa is the only team that has announced signings. These are all huge signings. I mean, Emily Clark and Brianne Jenner are mainstays on the Canadian national team. I think Emily Clark was second in scoring in the PWHPA last year. Brianne Jenner's got like 1,000 medals and all that stuff. She looks like a brigadier general, or like who was it? Was it Gaddafi who had like this stupidly overweighted military uniform?
Radko Gudas when they made him into a Civil War general.
And then Emmerance Mashmeyer has been like the perennial backup to the Canadian team on the Canadian team for I think 7 or 8 years now.
I mean, Emmerance Mashmeyer has a all-pro level hockey name.
It's an incredible name. If we're pronouncing that name incorrectly, we're sorry. But when we read it as a hockey name, we were like, yeah, it's Mashmeyer.
So she's a goalie.
Emirates is a goalie. Played at the University of Harvard. Had some votes for the Patty Katzmeyer when she was still in college.
So she's smart.
Yeah, she's smart and she's played real good hockey.
Nice.
Neither of those are Ottawan accents.
No. How do you like them apples?
But as you might have guessed, they're all Canadian players playing on a Canadian team. This is get out the door first, right? Mm-hmm. Especially if you're Ottawa, which, not to poo-poo Ottawa, but places like Toronto, Montreal, Minnesota, Boston are going to have a ton of local talent to draw from. So if you're Ottawa, target your players fast and get them.
It seems to be working.
And it seems to work. Like, those are 3 huge names that they've signed. You can't you can't fault a team for knowing what it wants and going out and getting it unless you draft Logan Mailloux.
Damn. Where were we with this?
So you are here.
No, I know.
I just did this.
You covered a bunch of this.
Yeah, I did the venues part.
Oh yeah.
Turn. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm just trying to.
I'm sorry, Evan. Stop hitting me.
Speaking of retread old white men, Brian Burke was named the executive director of the PWHPA.
PWHLPA.
Why do we need that?
That's a lot.
Why can't it still be the PWHPA? Like, I don't understand why.
Because
I will plant my branding flag.
Now they have a league.
Sure. God damn it. Why do we need more letters?
Yeah.
Alphabet soup already. Like,
everybody loved alphabet soup.
PWLHPA sounds like a very specialized medical superlative.
Or like a test for something.
Yeah.
Brian
Burke, a really deadly disease.
Yeah. It's like a distant cousin to MRSA.
Yeah, right. That's exactly where I'm going. It's just like a mashup of capital letters.
If you're gonna retread a white dude, at least you're retreading Brian Burke, who is actually he is a retread white man, but he's on the opposite side of the spectrum from all the ooky gross shit of the gentleman we talked about before.
He's a good guy.
He's very active in a lot of progressive circles, especially around hockey. And so I think,
and there are some very strong reasons why. We won't get into them right now, but
yes,
his story is as relative trailblazer is well known. I feel bad for lumping him in with all of those other people inadvertently.
Well, he is a retread white man, and that's what you said. Right, that is true.
But he's an old white man who cares.
Yes, he has a considerable amount of give a fucks for people who don't always have fucks given about them in the hockey world.
His give a fucks per 60 is a really good rate.
It's XGAF.
He's got positive give a fuck Corsi.
As much as Brian Burke gives a fuck, cities in Arizona do not give a fuck about the Arizona Coyotes.
No.
This is kind of an old story at this point, probably because we haven't recorded in a month.
Mm-hmm.
But the ownership in Arizona is looking to purchase land in Mesa. Hell, they might have even purchased it already. I didn't bother to follow up on this one.
Rumor has it they're going to build a trailer park.
Then Mesa's perfect.
Sorry. This land is currently a trailer park, and they will wait for all of the old people to die and then build a stadium.
Yeah, Mesa is... so if you're not familiar with the geography of the greater Phoenix area, if you start in downtown Phoenix and you head east, you're like, oh, Tempe, nice. And then you keep going east and you go, what is this? And that's Mesa.
Also, my grandmother lived in a trailer park in Mesa.
Oh, okay. So you get to make the joke. I'm being an asshole, but you
You're
at least
fine.
have personal experience.
It's like that's all that's the whole town.
Yeah.
It's just like, I mean, they're nice. They're nice trailer parks. Like
Sure.
these trailers haven't gone anywhere, but like, you know, they're permanent, just modular housing, and some of them are bougier than others. It's very interesting, like the gradations of trailer park there, because it's like, oh, this is a nice one. These are all double wides. And Aunt Irma lives in the all double wides. You know, there aren't no singles in this one.
Don't bring none of that single wide trash
right.
in my double wide trailer.
And they're going to need a double wide lot to plant a stadium there.
at least a double wide, yeah.
I think part of the problem for the Coyotes is the branding, and that like the public in Arizona is like, oh yeah, Coyotes, like they just live wherever and you can feed them trash.
They're going to eat it anyway, so you might as well put it out for them. Then maybe they won't make such a big mess out of it.
Speaking of coyotes, do you ever run into the three-legged coyote in North Portland?
No, I saw two coyotes to and from Condon, Oregon a couple of weekends ago. But,
nice.
On our drive. But
Well, there used to be like a three-legged coyote a couple years ago that lived in North Portland and like had a name.
That coyote is a fucking hero. One of my greatest joys in life is three-legged dogs.
Yeah, or my personal favorite coyote story is I probably told this before, but I was in a meeting on Burnside, this like east-west street, and here comes this coyote just galloping along at like bike speed, but he is going the right way in the bike lane on Burnside. And like it's like you keep doing what you're doing, bud.
That's very Portland.
Yep.
People don't realize it. That whole Portland being weird thing.
It extends to the wildlife.
It's pretty true. Yeah. So, I mean, with the Coyotes potentially moving to Mesa, all those people who got their hopes up for a move east to Houston are going to have to settle for a move east to Mesa. It's not exactly what they wanted, but hopefully instead of building luxury condos and hotels around the arena, they just leave the trailers. The ones that they don't like foreclose on and knock down, they're just like, nah, you're neighbors now.
Yeah.
Can we use your driveway for parking? I don't know why I went with a southern accent for Arizona, which has no accent, but whatever.
I mean, I'm wondering what solution is optimal for Austin Matthews' future trade there. Like, does he want it in Mesa, Houston, or like somewhere else entirely?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to go home? Do you want to be in Texas?
Or do you want to...
Arguably the worst city in Texas. Or, I don't know. Where else could it go? Salt Lake, Timbuktu. What are the other possible expansion cities?
London, Ontario.
Quebec City.
Somebody's backyard ODR.
Sean McEnroe. That's what I'm talking about.
See, he's got. He
likes to host.
Chris Osgood has a very outstanding ODR at his house. Yeah, they broadcast from Red Wings games from there from time to time. Like
that's kind of awesome.
Like they'll have an in-off or like Ken Daniels and somebody Larry Murphy will be in the studio, and then like Chris Osgood and Mickey Redmond will be out at his ODR, and Mickey Redmond's out there telling you about how many Verners he's had that night.
Is that like a Peyton's Places kind of vibe?
Yeah, a little bit.
I like this vein.
They just go there in like during intermission. But
I like this vein of like podcast like shows adjacent to sports. Like,
yes.
I just saw this like hilarious ad for Peyton's Places, and they like auditions featuring like Pat McAfee and like Mike Tyson and I think Kirk Cousins and then like like the punchline is like they've left Tom Brady in the waiting room this whole time.
Kirk Cousins is the most boring white person I've ever met in my entire life.
Have you seen Quarterback?
No.
Because it just makes that into a punchline.
Oh, good.
It's so good.
Good. Also in Yotes news, the Coyotes convinced Logan Cooley to not be a college hockey player anymore in what is like actually one of the biggest coups of the offseason.
I mean, really, they leaned into the college and they're like, yo, you're at University of Minnesota. We have an Arizona State for you.
And
like, you know how the women at your current university have to like put clothes on for half the year? Ours don't need that, and actually they reject that idea entirely.
Yeah, they're opposed to more to anything more than like a sundress.
Like, really, playing on a campus might have ended up being a coup for the guys in some way with developing young talent.
For their young talent, like they're like, oh, you want to stay here? We'll ship you to Winnipeg, bud.
Yeah, right.
Like, no. At least until I'm 25.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But yeah, a massive win for the Coyotes. Massive loss for Slovakia. Mitchell Miller signed with a Slovakian team, and all we really can say is we're sorry.
Yeah. I hear that like Slovakian urinal cakes are delicious this time of year. Mitchell.
May he have to, like, have you ever met somebody named Mitchell and you were like, that's a guy I want to hang out with? Mitch? Sure, okay. Mitchell?
Mitchell Trubisky. Best friend.
It's kind of like Chad and Dave. You're like, eh. Yeah.
Speaking of Chad, Austin Matthews signs 4 years, $58 million extension to stay in Toronto. Interesting way to sort of set the market.
It is a little bit more than Nathan McKinnon's current deal, so it does set the bar. But it definitely doesn't set the bar as high as Austin Matthews could have set the bar.
No, probably not.
And it's actually an extremely team-friendly deal if the cap goes up how it's expected to go up in the next 3 to 4 years.
So maybe they'll be able to afford like better defensemen than John Klingberg
or Mitch Marner.
Yeah,
they might be.
You
able
know
to
those
sign,
guys you like?
Sorry, Nylander.
You know those guys you like playing with? Let's take a cheaper deal so we can keep playing with them.
Yeah, it's also a really smart play by Matthews because I think he'll be 30 when this contract ends, and so he'll have plenty of time left to sign another contract with the then increased salary cap.
Yeah, one assumes that a age 30 Austin Matthews will still be worth a fuck ton of money.
Yeah, I'm guessing more than he's making on this deal easily.
For sure. I mean, they're going to be a little bit cap strapped when they are paying him, Marner, and Nylander. But not very long.
Well,
afterwards.
I mean, Tavares's contract will come off the books here, I think, in 2 years. So, and he won't make anywhere near what he's making now.
They're just going to shoot him into the sun.
Where he can walk on the sun.
Hey.
Bum, 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 bum.
Might as well be.
I think all other teams that were desperate for star power collectively said, oh, fiddlesticks.
Do you think they were really banking on him coming?
I guarantee you there was a team that was like preparing a package and like...
Yeah, maybe Arizona.
Hell, if the Red Wings weren't doing it, what the fuck are they doing?
Well, you know what they're maybe doing. Signing your boy.
God damn it. I have walked into this twice now. And you have just... I've walked into it and you just slammed that door right in my face.
Because it's so funny.
Speaking of slamming the door, Jonas Donskoy and Carl Hagelin have both announced their retirement from the NHL.
To which everyone responded, you were both still in the NHL?
Carl Hagelin went to Michigan.
No, I know.
So I love him.
These were actually like real players. Like Jonas Donskoy is calling it early because of concussions.
Yeah. I think Hagelin won a cup in Washington.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was part of several cup adjacent teams. I think he also played in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh and with the Rangers, actually, I think, too.
Yeah, Carl Hagelin, known for being insanely fast and always looking for a deal.
2-time cup winner.
Boy, could he buy a used car.
let's see. Oh yeah, he won with Pittsburgh and one with Washington. Good for him. That's how you have that's how you achieve career longevity in the NHL. Be good enough to get recruited to be a lesser guy on a good team.
Yeah. And also be insanely fast.
Yeah, Carl Hagelin is fucking mighty might. When he was at Michigan, that was when they started unfurling giant Swedish flags at Michigan games, and guys would dress up like the Swedish chef. It was really great. One of my favorite Michigan players of all time.
Yeah, and notoriously could talk down a Turkish rug salesman. He was always haggling. That's recycling, man. That's you back in the day.
Yeah, dude, I was driving box trucks. Without a CDL. I was. Don't tell.
I mean, I heard that in Michigan, as long as you're driving a car, that's okay.
Yeah. You're walking somewhere, clearly a
Fuck
criminal.
you.
Shoot him.
Yeah, kill him.
What, you're driving a car that like only has two wheels? That's a bike, sir. Kill him too.
Motorbike?
Nope. I'm just, when I'm riding it around, I just go me.
Harley? That's from Wisconsin. Kill him.
I don't think we have anything against Wisconsin except in sports
and like culture, and
we're so similar. Like I can go to Saravesa and feel like I'm home. They make the same cabbage salad that my mom makes.
Yeah. Same pasties.
Yeah. Well, and with that, that's probably it for us today. Thank you so much for. Are you still here? Are we even like, we're going to put this out, but like, it's like a tree falls in the forest.
It's like the ending of Ferris Bueller.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go home.
While Evan was traveling, he met somebody who has like somewhat kind of listened to the podcast. And that's like just a moment of zen for me. I was like, I read that text and was like, we've made it.
Yeah. Shout out to Eric at Lord Stanley's Pub.
We're famous. Sorta.
No, it was a fun night. It was nice to interact with someone that listens to us who I haven't, talked to in a very, very long time. So yeah, it was a good time, and reminds us that, hey, we're doing something fun.
Yeah, and really, like, we're an all vibes podcast. Very few stats, all vibes, and berating the racists.
Mostly negative vibes, if we're being honest.
Yeah, well, I feel like
At least today.
I feel like we try and create positive vibes out of the negative vibes.
We can do a good job with black humor.
That
I think that might be our calling card at this point.
Gallows humor and self-deprecation are calling cards of the Midwest, and so hey, here we are.
That's why they call us handsome.
Yeah,
we're not like sexy or anything. We're just handsome.
It's not because of the hockey. It's because of the handsome. You can find us all over the internets at handsomehockey.com, Handsome Hockey Podcast on Instagram, Handsome Hockey on Threads. It's like Undone the Sweater Song.
Yeah, it's like Twitter, but with less overt, like, blaming the Jews.
Yeah, I mean, you can still pull this thread and we'll walk away. At Handsome Hockey on Twitter, if you want to blame the Jews, go on Twitter.
Elon Musk now just blaming the Anti-Defamation League for why Twitter sucks.
Yeah, no, it's not you.
It's yeah.
The email address is handsomehockeypod@gmail.com. Handsome Hockey is also on Facebook and on the YouTubes, as my grandma once called them.
And that's, I mean, your grandma, I need to give her more content.
Thank you guys so much. We're just barreling along, getting ready for hockey season. Apparently it's in a couple of weeks, because I opened up the boards for our fantasy hockey league and like started planning for it. So
it's like you always get ready for the new school year way too fucking late.
Yeah, except this time I'm doing it marginally ahead of time, I think. We got like a month before the draft.
Oh, I was not trying to say anything about you. That was a royal you.
Oh. Well, all right. Stay handsome, everybody.
Restez beau tout le monde. Yeah, you have maybe a logjam there.
I've got an overrated burger joint's worth of keepable forwards.
What, Culver's? No, that
is a very overrated burger joint.
I like Culver's, but
the Buddha burgers.
Just the proximity of decent shakes to burgers.
That's fair. No, yeah, decent to good shakes. I mean,
I'm a sucker for decent to good shakes.
I mean, honestly, that's really like the only top-notch thing that Burgerville does is their shakes.
I like Burgerville actually. It's just like it's
too expensive for what
it's expensive, and you kind of get like overhyped off the menu.
Yeah,
their menu pictures are a little too good.
Yeah, but they're more believable than say Burger King's, where you like go to Burger King and you're like, that actually looks tasty, and you get it and it's smushed and tastes like butthole.
Yeah, I mean but you notice they have less pictures.
Yeah,
same with like Dairy Queen.
Smart.
Like they only have to take pictures of very strategic things.
Dairy Queen's like, just take pictures of the ice cream. That's all. Maybe an onion ring.
Take a picture of the toast that comes in the chicken box.
Yeah,
that's right. You get a box.
I mean, how else are you going to deliver chicken to somebody?
There's the Dairy Queen in Rhododendron, Oregon, up the way Mount Hood. They have their own website as a franchise. It's Rhody Queen.
There's a lot of jokes there. I think you had told me that before.
I love it,
and I really appreciate it.
Put that on the list of things that I've just repeated for no good fucking reason, just because I'm amused.
No, that's the best reason. Like, why would you hold that back? If something brings you joy, say it out loud.
That's true. Yeah. That's a good way to live.